Yeah, sure.
Yep, it is up.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think we got enough to get started.
All right.
I'll start recording here. Wah, wah, wah.
Oh.
Oh, there it is.
Yo, check, microphone, check.
Microphone, check.
Bow, bow, bow,
Check.
Check.
1 2
bow,
1
bow,
2.
Hello, check, one, check.
bow, bow, bow,
right.
bow, bow.
Check. Sounds like there's like a noise gate on this. Hello. Wonder
Hello?
if Discord's doing that. Kind of weird.
Sounds okay here.
Yeah, it sounds fine to me. Yo. It's all right. All right.
I'm not going back through 2 years of or 2 weeks of
No, that's
new
okay.
releases.
Just stuff that's on the list right now.
Power Wash Simulator Tomb Raider Special Pack.
I just copied it because it was right below the other thing. Mostly, Power Wash Simulator is now coming to more platforms, and my daughter's going to be happy.
Ugh.
She prefers the PS5 controller to the Xbox controller.
Oh, Dead Space, dude.
Forspoken, put Forspoken in there.
That's already out, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's
Oh.
a new release.
I guess it was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the Dead Space remake. I just don't know if I want to pay $60 for it.
People
I don't
seem to
necessarily
like
know
it.
why either. Like I probably don't remember a thing about the first game, right?
I do. I think I played through it twice, maybe even 3 times.
Are they changing anything in the remake?
There's like
Tightening
additions
up
and
the graphics.
enhancements, but I think the story and whatever. It's not like a remaster. It's more of a remake.
Well, the thing that I've heard that's interesting is that they're talking about like, oh, are there going to be more remakes? But I wonder if they're just going to diverge, and make something new.
Let's be fair. Dead Space 2 is where it peaked, bro.
Dead Space 2 is good. The scary babies.
Dead Space 1 was fine. It's just that they just improved on it a lot. It's kind of like Assassin's Creed 1 and 2.
Assassin's Creed, yeah. Yep, it's a good comparison.
I don't see any new releases in here that I give a shit about.
I just put the 1 or 2 in there. Hi-Fi Rush, very important. I'm going to talk about that.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Raiden 4 Cross Mikado remix? You're not into shmups?
Sounds like a Destiny gun to me.
Oh, I haven't looked at Destiny guns.
Cubic Light. That's a Destiny gun.
That is a Destiny gun. I think people are onto our gig, and they're actually releasing Destiny guns now in new releases.
Yep. Well, I guess I don't know. Oh shit! Monster Hunter Rise.
Oh yeah,
on consoles.
I want to, like, in a different timeline, maybe I would be totally getting into that right now, but I just...
Oh man, it's really good.
I don't think I can do it. What's the setting now? You gonna
It's
talk
like
about it?
Probably.
Settings in a big elevator.
It's all one loading screen.
All the personas are now on Game Pass. Like, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Like Persona, Golden came out, and
is it really a good deal to use Game Pass to play a game like Persona though? Because I mean, I think you could probably spend like a couple of months playing just a Persona game, right?
That's a good point. If you're not grazing, Dale, you just brought up something that's really kind of important. If you're not grazing everything on Game Pass, you're not getting your money's worth.
Exactly.
Let's see. Recently,
ideally, you hate every game that you play on Game Pass
and save a ton of money
because you only play it long enough to discover that you hate it, and then you move on to the next thing. That's max value.
Persona 4 Golden and Persona 3 Portable.
That's the PSP version.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Monster Hunter Rise.
It's time to rise.
Coming to Game Pass. Redfall. Hot Wheels Unleashed. That's coming. That's cool. On the 6th of February. Okay, I'm ready.
All right. I think I've been recording. I'm going to stop. Yeah, I've been recording for 5 minutes. I'm going to stop it.
I will also stop it for your sake.
All right. Yeah, that's helpful.
Okay, I'm recording from the beginning now.
All right, from the start.
Oh, yeah. Well, let me dump this. All right, I'm recording again.
Sometimes it's fun. This time it was not fun.
All right, so let's clap or whatever.
All right.
1, 2, 3.
All right.
That was pretty okay. It's pretty okay.
Pretty okay.
It's funny that you'd say that. I'm going to talk about that a little bit.
Pretty okay?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
All right. We officially ready? Officially?
Ready.
Ready when you are.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Game by Show podcast. It's January the 30th, 2023. We've taken a couple weeks off in our podcast land, but hopefully not in your hearts. We really hope that we hold a special place there for your sakes and for ours. My name is LeGrand
We know you
Jolly.
were pining for us.
That's right. I'm LeGrand. That's Jeremy.
Hey, LeGrand.
Hi, Jeremy.
Hi, guys. Hey, Jeremy.
Dale's here, too.
Hey. How's it going?
What's going on? Nothing. It feels like it's been a year since we've done this. Like, so much has happened, truly.
Since last year.
Yeah. Now, we've recorded 2 episodes this year.
Yeah, we have, actually. That's true. That's true.
This is episode 3, season 23. Episode 3.
Season 23.
Who's our cover athlete now for this year? It's
Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson.
Justin Roiland, apparently.
Oh no. We're gonna have to recall that one.
Yeah. That's what happens. Is like we put them on our cover and they get canceled. Like that's
right.
That's
the Game Bytes curse.
The Game Bytes curse. Yeah. You know. Anyway.
Yeah.
What y'all been up to, man? It's been too long.
Gosh, playing some video games. I actually have been. I've got a backlog of stuff to talk about, so I'm not gonna do that. But
everyone has a backlog.
I have a front log now, I guess is what I would call that. Is that what you call it? If you've been playing more games than you can talk about on your podcast?
A forelog?
You got
Sure.
Front log. I got my daughter to play Mom Hid My Game, which is pretty good and fun.
You mean hidden my game by mom?
Hidden my game by mom. As we were doing that, I queued up our podcast. That was like 6 years ago or something.
Yeah, that's obscene.
I talked about it too, right? We all played it. I played it on my phone, I believe, like right when it came out.
There's one thing though that I do want to just get out really quickly because I don't think I'm going to talk about it on the show. I threatened before the year 2022 ended that I had to play the Tales from the Borderlands sequel series, just in case it was going to be my Game Bytes, one of my games of the year. You may notice it was completely absent, but it is not good. It's not good.
Really?
It's really not. I'm surprised how not good it is. Like, it still has the Telltale Tool problems. The characters are sort of contrived. Like, I don't really buy
Is it even made on the Telltale Tool anymore?
It has to be, because my daughter was like, what's going on? Because every time the scene changes, the textures all load in. Like, just when the camera changes, the textures are loading in. And my daughter was like, why is it doing that? And I'm like, oh, it's Telltale. So I'm not going to talk about it, but it's not good.
That sucks, man.
Yeah, I was really disappointed. I played through the first episode. I spent $30. on it.
Oh, shit.
I
Better,
think
better beat it then.
it actually came
Maybe
with
they're gonna
a
patch
Switch.
it and it'll get better.
Maybe they'll have
Did
to
you
patch
finish
all
it?
No, I finished the first episode, and then I was going to play the second one to see if because maybe the second episode's better, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it. The deluxe version, which cost me $30 though, does come with a download code for the Switch of the first Tales from the Borderlands, so I might just install that and play that again.
Which is a better game.
It is. It's an awesome game.
Apparently.
It's really good. Yeah. Anyway, so I didn't want to talk about it on the show and take up time, but I just wanted FYI for anybody out there who was wondering or curious. No bueno. Don't bother.
All right.
Well, that's a shame.
It's a shame. I hate to say it, but oh well.
I've got a lot of Michonne games to finish. I was gonna say Telltale.
Yeah, you got a whole front
Michonne games.
You got a whole front log of Telltale.
I've been playing it like every night. It's just a really long game.
It takes forever.
Michonne,
All the side
Walking
quests.
Dead Michonne episode 3.
Gathering herbs.
It's literally taken me like 6 years, and I still haven't finished it.
Summoning Roach out of the.
I just gave up on it after a while. Just can't be bothered.
I mean, I want to get back into it, but I just feel like I have to start from the beginning.
Yeah, of The Walking Dead season 1, so that you know what's going on.
You're gonna have to
Exactly.
go back to the TV show,
And I got to read the comics too until I get to the Michonne part.
It's just they just keep making them.
Yep. Yeah,
well, not anymore. Not the comics anymore. They keep making the shows apparently.
They're still making Walking Dead TV show.
No, I think that thing ended.
The Walking Dead. No, the
there the spin-off
comic
shows?
book ended.
Yeah.
The TV show I think just ended.
Yeah,
just recently.
in the last couple months, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, they're gonna do like spin-off movies and TV show. No, they definitely did a couple of TV shows, right?
I feel like
I know there's at least one.
yeah, there was like
Fear the Walking Dead. I don't know what that was about.
Was there a second one maybe with like Daryl?
There was one that was like more for young people, I think. I feel like it's kind of
It was
overstated.
the WB
Walking Dead
Walking Dead.
Kids.
It was the zombie dating.
No, it's the CW.
Saved by the Bell,
CW.
The Walking Dead,
WB.
Whatever it is.
the CWB,
CWB.
Yeah.
CBD.
So are you glad you asked? That's what we've been up to.
Well,
Yeah, man.
we have probably been playing games at least some of us have been playing different games. Lots of games even.
Yeah.
So much has happened since we last spoke.
Oh man.
I played and beat Metroid Dread.
Which I was kind of interested that you were. I'll just point this out. Legrand said that it may be one of the best designed games ever.
It is so good. I
what's
wasn't
so
necessarily
good
going to
about
talk about it. I have several things to talk about. Like I don't know how much time we're doing here.
You just got to pick. Here, listen. I'm picking one because I've got a front log I got to talk about. I'm gonna
Exactly.
carry it forward. So you just got to pick one.
Fine. So I have to mention, and I blame everybody. I beat Metal Gear Solid 1 on PlayStation 1 emulator on my PC.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
The whole thing.
That's a great game.
Did you? Hey, if it's on an emulator like that, where do you get the frequency for the?
You just got to remember.
You don't have that memorized, dude? Come on.
Is it
It's like
140?
140.96. And it's the same in every Metal Gear game.
Yeah, but the thing is, every Metal Gear game gives you some stupid way to see what it is.
Well, the trick was the Psycho Mantis fight where you had to change the controller port.
Right.
I see you've been playing Cut the
Castlevania.
Rope.
But you never really had to
That's
do that. Wasn't there like you could break the busts
Yeah,
that were on
exactly.
the furniture or whatever?
I'd never done
would
that
do it.
before, so I had to look it up. I couldn't
Yeah.
figure it out.
Huh.
Anyway, so I've been doing a bunch of dumb. I've been doing a bunch of dumb emulation. Because I mean everything is kind of out there now. Like you can literally download all sorts of crazy stuff now. It's just on the internet.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it's all legal, sort of. Not really, but
What?
it's there. Why is it
If
all
it's on
there? Like
archive.org.
on prominent archive.org websites. It's not like some
I don't know.
hacker website in the dark corners of the internet. Like it's the internet archive.
Archive.org. Yeah.
Anyway, so I've been doing a bunch of that. I got Metal Gear 1, Metal Gear Solid 2, and Metal Gear Solid 3, and Metal Gear Solid 4, all running on emulators on my PC.
Wait,
Wow.
you can now run MGS4 on an emulator?
Yes, it's kind of weird and buggy, but I messed with it for a while.
How do PS3 emulators work these days?
I have no idea.
Because I wonder. Like, I'd always heard that was going to be a challenge when they
It's
whenever
not,
they got around
great,
to it.
I'll be honest with you. Anyway,
'Cause
so I've
of
been
the
doing a bunch
cell
of weird
architecture.
emulation stuff, and I've been downloading 3DS emulators, which I did download 3DS emulator and played Samus Returns just to see what it was looking like. Now I have to tell you, like, we're gonna talk about Metroid Dread. I'm gonna let you finish talking about Metroid Dread, something like that. Anyway,
Yeah.
Metroid Dread is such a detailed, beautiful game. There's tons of stuff going on in the background, little animations that seem unnecessary for no other game would do, like just random things like that. And going back and playing Samus Returns, this is the 3DS game, except for playing it like blown up and big on my computer monitor. They were doing all that stuff within that game. There's a bunch of stuff you just don't even realize. A lot of details, a lot of little critters running around, and just things that are happening in that game. By the way, like Samus Returns is a good game, and I played it all the way through it on the 3DS. But it is night and day difference to play 3DS games with like a real analog stick.
Really?
As you would expect, I guess. So I tried a handful of 3DS games. I fired up Zelda. I fired up a bunch of random things and kind of.
Which is Zelda?
Link Between Worlds.
Oh, you did say 3DS. I thought you were saying like Phantom Train. What was that one called? Phantom Hourglass?
Oh yeah,
there's Phantom Hourglass and
Spirit Tracks.
Ghost
Spirit
Train.
Tracks. That's
Phantom Train.
Soul Train.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's Cadence of Hyrule.
Cadence, yeah.
Dude, that's a good one. Cadence and
Cadence of Hyrule and the Solid Gold Dancers.
All right. But anyway, Metroid Dread is a fantastic game, and I'm going to tell you why. It's a Metroid, so let's get it out there. It's a Metroid game. It's fine.
Okay.
It continues the story, and supposedly this is the end of the 2D Metroid saga up to this point. So we're talking one.
So where in the
Returns.
timeline? Where in the timeline
This
are
is
we?
the end. This is the
So this
they've
is
all been
after-
sequential up to this point. Yeah.
So this is after Fusion.
Yep.
Was Fusion the last one before that?
Yes.
Yes.
Fusion was Metroid 4. Yep.
Okay.
Super
Yeah.
Metroid was 3. Yeah, Samus Returns. Anyway, the whole conceit is that as part of Metroid Fusion, they had to inject her with Metroid cells so that she could fight off the X virus, and she was the only one that could actually fight it because Metroids were the natural predator of the X cells and all this stuff, and so Metroid Fusion was basically all about her having that and being able to absorb these X powers. Well, this game, it's like the DNA that she's been infused with by Metroid is slowly taking over her body. So the whole storyline just kind of follows weird shit happening to Samus, like it's kind of popping up through the whole game. But it brings back the Chozo. It kind of brings back all the weird Metroid back lore that not a lot of people really care about, but it's all there. Like there's a reason. There's a big bad villain in this game, like an actual villain that like pops up every once in a while, and so it's kind of a.
And it's not like Dark Samus again.
It's not Dark Samus. It's one of a Chozo bad guys. So you see him in the opening sequence. He's the guy that kicks your ass and you lose all your powers. It's that guy.
Oh, okay. I thought the Chozo were like all extinct or something.
There's apparently a few left on this planet that they're on.
Cool.
And so it actually does some interesting storytelling where it ties it back into some of the other games and kind of references some stuff. Because according to what I've heard, this is the final game in that series of 2D Marios. But back to this. Anyway, it's a Metroid game through and through. It's great. There's some cool mechanics. The Emmys are like these Resident Evil 2, whatever that guy's name, the Nemesis or whatever, like stomping, chasing you around. There's these Emmys that you have to kill.
So there's a bunch of them. I thought it was just one that would chase you around.
No, there's like 8.
Oh wow.
What does ME stand for?
I can't remember.
Mutated something.
You could probably guess, but I have no idea. Something intelligence probably. I don't know.
Enemy metal.
Oh, you're gonna make me look it up because I don't remember. ME acronym.
You're gonna come up with all kinds of stuff.
Dread.
Electromagnetic interference. Oh my.
That's
bad.
it. That's it.
Yeah, magnetic. Electronic metal magnetic interference. Anyway, so back what I mentioned that I feel like this game is really perfectly designed is in Metroid games, like the whole point in every Metroidvania is to find powers to get you progression, to get to the next place, to fight the next boss, to get the next thing, to progress even further. And in all of these games, I'm talking every single one of these games that's ever been made, there's portions of the game where, I just unlocked the high jump, for example. I guess I better go backtrack to those areas where I see like I needed a high jump to get up to an area to find a missile pack or whatever, right?
Of course.
And like that's like the part of the game. And so what you're getting from those pickups are bonus missiles, bonus energy, bonus super missiles, power bombs, things like that. Consumable items. You increase your overall how much your maximum limit that you can carry of those things. Anyway, so what I found in this game is I was doing exactly that. So I'd like get through an area. And I'm like, well, I got the I don't know, the charge beam. I guess I'll go back to those doors I recognized in the area before this and go through those charge beam doors. And I'll go through there and I get a missile pack that gives me +2 missiles or whatever it is. And I'm like, okay, that was satisfying, I guess. You go back to the main story path. And what I eventually told myself is like, well, I don't want to go back anymore. Like, I don't have time for this. Maybe I'll go back at the end of the game. It'll be more efficient to pick it up after the game and just kind of make a big arcing sweep of the entire map and pick up all the pickups, right? And so I stopped doing that. And so I started just kind of like letting the game lead me along. And what I found is that every time I got a new pickup, like a room immediately before that, there would be an area, or you would immediately be dumped out into a spot or led to an area. And it's not like you did it on purpose or were even looking at the map, but somehow you landed at the next part you had to be. And part of me was like questioning, well, shit, I just ran into this. Like, is this the way I'm supposed to go? Or is there some other thing that I noticed earlier that I need to go back and that's where I need to go? I don't know which of these directions I need to go. And it was confusing.
Always go left.
Yeah, so for the first little while, I was like, I didn't know what to do. And I'm like, okay. And eventually, what I realized is that where it kind of was leading me along without actually telling me where to go, that was always the correct path 100% of the time. Now, a lot of people I heard, and I read feedback online, I've talked to friends, and they're like, yeah, this game's really hard. Like, I got stuck. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do. And meanwhile, I'm like, bitch, like, it led me, and I never got stuck. I just progressed through the game. And then I got to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm able to kill all of these bosses. Like, I wonder if I don't need any of that extra energy or any of those extra missile packs or any of these extra things. I wonder if I could just play through the game the way it's leading me to get to the end boss and beat the end boss without doing a single second of backtracking. Okay. And you know what? I super did. The whole game, without ever having to backtrack, I played it like a linear experience, and it felt more and more linear the more that I played it. Even though the map was very open, and as I was heading to some areas, I probably had to go through some areas I'd already been to. So it wasn't like a singular linear path. It was a linear path that I never stopped to smell the roses on a huge open world map. And I got to the end boss, and I fought the end boss, and I'm like, well, this is doable. And he kicked my ass probably 20 times because it's a very hard boss to begin with. Once I had the patterns kind of figured out, it was like no problem at all. I wouldn't even get hit.
Right.
So it's that type of thing. But I realized, like, I beat the whole game, a Metroidvania game, without ever really backtracking. Like, I had half of my full energy. I probably had a third of the total missiles that were available to me, and I never ran out of missiles. I never really died that often.
So what you're saying is that this is a linear casual game. Is that
I'm
what
just saying
that
there's lots of ways that you can play Metroid Dread. Like,
were you missing out on any of the like there's always like a freeze beam and a laser beam? Were you missing anything? I
got everything
that you knew of.
Yeah,
you did get everything. Okay,
yeah, I got everything in the game as far as like they're all the main progression stuff. Like, you have to get the power bombs to do this, and so there was no like. I didn't skip any of that. I skipped all of the extra stuff that gives you extra energy, missiles, super missiles. Like, I didn't do any of that stuff.
Various suit, whatever.
I got that. No, I got the various suits. There's hot.
Yeah, that's probably like required, right?
Yeah.
Screw attack, hook.
So I told myself, I'm like, I'm gonna beat the game, and then I'm gonna go back and get all the shit. And I never did that. I beat the game and put it down because I have so much to play. But at the end of the day, like, Metroid Dread was amazing. Best Metroid game, better than Super Metroid, I would have to say. Like, it felt.
Who made
really
this
good.
game?
At the you played it?
Like, who made this? Do you know? Do you happen to know which? It wasn't like Retro or anybody like where was it?
Retro. It was Mercury Steam.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Mercury Steam. Yeah, they have the good games.
They have the good games.
What have they done?
They did make that one Space Rangers that didn't really hit.
Castlevania Lords of Shadow, and then like
that's where I know them from recently.
A bunch of a few other things.
They did the Samus Returns on the 3DS, so that's probably why this one feels so much. Like
if what I remember is correct, I think they're from Spain.
That's right. Yeah, they're Spanish.
Anyway, Metroid Dread's great. Like, I paid full price for it, as you do with all Nintendo games. So I didn't save any money by waiting for the price to go down. I kind of wish I would have played it back when it came out because it's that good. It's really good. So if you're on the fence about Metroid Dread, try the demo, I guess. The demo is what actually ended up selling me on it and made me put it on my Christmas list, which is when I got it. But it's a very, very good game, and it definitely takes you down a path, and you just trust in the game and the way it's been designed, and like never have a problem with where you need to go. So anyway, that's it for me. Metroid Dread, among other things that we'll talk about another time.
Very good. Sounds cool.
You know what? I have an idea for my segment here.
Okay.
So I've been down the MMO hole. I've been mining the MMO seam for a while now. So rather than me just like kind of drone on about the myriad of things that I've done, I'm gonna let you answer. I'm gonna let you ask me 3 questions about Final Fantasy XI and what I've been doing in that game. Any questions you like?
My brother tells the truth. One of us tells the truth and one of us lies. And 3 questions. You got to figure out which is which.
I will attempt to give the most honest answer for each of these 3 questions.
Okay.
And then we'll move right on.
All right. Okay. I think that's.
I got a question for you.
All right. Here's your first question.
How soloable is Final Fantasy XI today?
It is very, very, very soloable. It's entirely soloable, except for like that stuff at the very end of the end game. So I've been playing for like, I don't know, about 5 weeks now. I've one time for about 10 minutes formed a group with one other person, and he helped me do a thing that I was under leveled for because I had not bothered to go and raise my level cap yet.
Huh.
So the answer is it's extremely soloable. And
So
that's
it wasn't
because
always that way. When did that happen?
no, it definitely was not. That is a fairly recent addition or change to the game that I'm not sure when they first came out with the trust magic system, because the way that they make it soloable is that you can cast these spells to like summon AI party members is basically the way it works out. So in practice, you're still rolling around with a full like 5 or 6 character party. And everybody's fulfilling their role of either tank or DPS or healer or whatever support job. And you just fill in the job that you've chosen to play. You just fill that role and you summon everybody else to be your tank or your DDs or whatever.
I wonder if they added that when they added it to Final Fantasy 14, because that hasn't been a part of Final Fantasy 14 the whole time either.
I think it's been in the last probably 5 years or so that they added these things.
Yeah, it's been about 5 years since since it was a Shadowbringers expansion is when they kind of added that stuff in Final Fantasy.
Something 14. It might be longer than that because I've it's hard for me to, I don't know. There was many years I was not paying attention to this game, and we're now in 2023. It's not like it's not like 2010 anymore. Sometimes I forget, but yeah, I think it's fairly recent that was changed. But yeah, to answer your first question, very, very soloable.
So I have a question for you. Is the
Number
game?
2.
Yes, number 2. And here's the reason I'm asking this question is every time I log in to Final Fantasy 14, they have rearranged everything. I have to relearn the game again. Abilities and stuff are different. So kind of bouncing off this idea that this, solo ability, concept has kind of been added in. How stable in terms of game mechanics has the game been? Have you had to relearn it again, or is it just as it has always been?
This time around, I've had to relearn quite a lot because I'm now, for the first time, playing in the like space above level 75 on jobs. Right now, I have just one job that I've taken up to the new level 99 cap, and at that point, like sometimes happens in like WoW, you start working instead of on like experience levels, you start working on like gear score and stuff. But that's beside the point. But sorry, what was your question again?
just if you had to relearn everything, if they've been messing around with the mechanics and
my how we talked once before about like when you load up 14 again, like all your controls are changed.
Yeah, like stuff is actually missing from my list of tasks and all.
Yes, yeah. No, the same thing happened. And the way that this game works is like you program these little macros to do things for you. So like you'll program a macro that says swap in this set of gear, cast this ability, then swap in the other set of gear that I use when I'm not doing a special ability. Stuff like that, right? I'd lost all my macros between the last time I played and this time. And I don't know if that's due to anything that the game did, or if I had like, uninstalled it and then deleted those files or something. I don't know. It could be on me. It's not not necessarily the game. I think as far as like systems wise, like how much of the game itself has changed over the last few years. In the last few years, probably not all that much, but yeah, certainly since the game was kind of in its new, release period and like heyday, let's call that from like 2004 to 2000,
maybe up until they shut down the PS2
or something. Yeah. No, since then it's a drastically different game now.
Wow.
And that's not just because of the like streamlining and more user-friendly stuff that they've implemented, but there's also been several expansions since those days.
Yeah.
So
I wonder if they are like bouncing off the Final Fantasy 14 and 11 guys, if they're like, hey, this is working over here, we should do that over there.
I think so, because if you remember the first time that 2009, and then it went away for a while and they had to fix it up, and then it came out again in like, what was that, like 2012 probably, or something like that. Yeah. And this game has been going since 2002, right? I've been reading some history about this game. There's actually a really good wiki site. There's like a fan made, it started off as a forum like way back in the day, and then eventually evolved into a wiki. It's called BG Wiki. For Final Fantasy 11, and somebody has gone through and done like a very meticulous survey of the history of the game from like year by year, incorporating like the PR cycle, all of the patch notes for every patch, the fan reaction to every patch, all of the like little community events that they do in game, all of the like E3 showings and TGS showings, and like somebody has really like put a lot of effort into doing this stuff. And I've been reading through them, and it's really interesting for me because to start off, there's like a couple of years where the game was only released in Japan and only on PS2, and then it came out on it came out internationally and on PC at around the same time. That's when I started playing it, and then I played it for a few years, and then there was a long period where I didn't play it at all until like 2017. And so I've been reading up through like all the stuff that I missed, and it's just really interesting to like, so okay, so that's that new system, that's when it came out, that's why it came out, that was the reaction, this is how it's evolved in the time since then. And it's at once it's helping me kind of like understand how the game came to be what it is now from what it was when I knew it back then, and all these new expansions and systems that has just like grown up over the last 20 years on this game, which is a lot of stuff. Like I don't know of anything that they've ever removed from the game. They've when they bring out a new system and it wasn't a success for some reason, it's not like they would cut it or anything. They might tweak it to make it better, or they might just leave it and kind of, like an evolutionary dead end sort of thing. Yeah. So anyway,
all right.
Third question.
Third question. Les Legrand's got one. I'm curious to know in terms of percentage of content. So you're playing a new character.
No, same character.
Same character. Okay, so new class maybe from an expansion. I think you said that you were kind of doing a new. So the way it works in 14, you've got all these job classes with all their own storylines and things like that. Are you just like mainlining one, and you've got a horizontal spread of content that you're bypassing at this point, or what's your feeling on the percentage of overall based on?
Well, so one thing to understand about the way that this game works as opposed to 14 is that each job, it doesn't have its full length quest, like from level 1 to level 100 or whatever. Each job in this game typically has a quest to like unlock the job, and then it has a quest like sort of midway through the leveling progression to where you get like the signature armor for that job. And then maybe like at the end of the leveling projection, there'll be a special quest to unlock a new like weapon skill, right? But to answer your question, when I first picked the game up this time around, the last time a few years ago I had played this game, I had leveled up Samurai from like 1 to 75. So when I picked it up again this time, I was like, I'll just stick with Samurai because that was what I played the last few years, or a few years ago. So I took that one from 75 to 99. But there's been a couple of times where I was like, you know what, I want to play a thief this time. So I took my thief that was like level 27 or whatever, leveled that up to 75. And then I was like, I'm gonna try a melee white mage. And so I picked up my white mage. It was like level 42, and leveled that up to 50, I think. Before I was like, this is not really kind of what I was thinking. So then I decided to go back to samurai and keep working on the gear score and all that stuff. But the main thing I've been doing, my sort of survey of all the content, Jeremy, is playing through all of the story campaigns, because there's been so many expansions there's like the base game, and then there was Rise of the Zillart and Chains of Promethea and Treasures of Ot Urgon, and those were the ones that like came out back in the day that I'd played through most of the way. So since picking it up again recently, I finished out that Treasures of Ot Urgon storyline. And then the next one was called Wings of the Goddess, and I finished that, and that took a really long time because it was very long. And then the next thing they added was like 3 little shorter sort of DLC modules. I've done the first of those while also working on the next 2 big expansions, and just sort of doing those in pieces, kind of staggered, because they're sort of interdependent when it comes to progression, the way that they've designed these things. So, but yeah, I've been working on the story stuff because that's kind of what I really want to sort of knock out. Eventually, it'll get to a point where like I've done all like story campaign sort of missions, and the only thing that'll be left will be like the end game gear chase or whatever. I'm not crazy about that. I'm not super interested in that part. But what I've always really liked about this game is just exploring the world and seeing all the cool, fanciful zones that they create, and the story. The stories are like, it's kind of hit or miss, I think, sometimes with the campaigns, but they're always like really wackadoo Final Fantasy sort of stuff. So it's
right.
You're kind of curious to see what's going to happen. So
right. So your overall impression, if you had to boil it down to a percentage of the content that you're experiencing, is it less than 10? Is it?
Yeah, well, you got to think of it in kind of as a dichotomy. There's like the story stuff, and then there's like all the game battle systems and all the loot chase and all that stuff. The story stuff, I'm hoping to, let's say I'll get to like, the target is maybe 80 or 90%, right? That's ignoring all the like little side quests and stuff. But of the like gear chase, like dungeon instance equivalents and all that sort of thing that you get in an MMO. A lot of that stuff is now kind of just like fallen by the wayside in terms of so the rewards that you would get for it would be great at level 75, but that's no longer the cap anymore. So so it's like some things there's not really and some of this game also puts a level cap on you at some times. So like for instance, there might be a dungeon you go into that it wants to put you a level cap of like 30 on you, and that's just not really fun. You don't want to like be back at level 30 when you're used to like level 90 and stuff. Yeah. So I mean, you can skip a lot of that stuff and not worry about it. So yeah, those kind of things I'll just sort of ignore probably.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Well, very good. Well, glad you're having fun with it.
Thank you.
Well, this week I played a game that is taking the world by storm, a shadow drop game, meaning it was not advertised. It was kind of revealed and then immediately launched from the Xbox Developer Direct. It's a game called Hi-Fi Rush.
High C,
orange stuff, Sunny D. But Hi-Fi Rush is a game that is on the Xbox Series X and S. Because I do not have that, I am streaming it on my Xbox One. And it is a third-person rhythm action game. If you can imagine something like Devil May Cry, or if you go back a few months, I played a game called No Straight Roads a while ago, which was a music-based. It was the game by the Malaysian people, and like the jokes were kind of weird, and but it was really charming, animated really well. The music was really good. This game is kind of like that, where it sort of purported to or intended to have your action be based on the rhythm and the music going on, and the hints that you get from the environment as you play through it. This game actually does that. It is a very hand-drawn looking, very well animated, and the characters are well voiced, very cute. You play a character named Chai, who is I don't really know why, but at the beginning he decides he wants to get like an augmentation, like a
Like a
Deus Ex.
cybernetic?
Yeah, exactly. And so he goes in like this kind of disturbs me a little bit. They don't really go into this in the game, but he goes in as like a regular person, and then he goes into like this machine, and like then he's got a robot arm. So they like take off his
Whoa.
arm, but in the process, he has like a little music player, like a little iPod thing, and it accidentally, through a series of like funny events, kind of like sits on his chest when he gets pressed into the machine or whatever, and it ends up inside his chest like a little Tony Stark kind of like antimatter heart drive kind of thing, but it's based on music. And so you notice then that now all of the world is reacting to your little iPod heart drive, and you are also uncovering the the corruption in this giant corporation, which is called the Vandalay Corporation,
Art
which makes
Vandelay?
yes, exactly. I want to believe that this is on the same timeline that Seinfeld is on. It's pretty good. And
Oh.
and actually I keep mentioning my daughter, and she actually was watching Seinfeld, and I was like, say your Vandalay, say it's our Vandalay. But it's like the Vandalay Corporation. And I don't know why. Like, you can't use that name. I don't know. Anyway, and it's all sort of like futuristic. This all takes place in kind of the future, and there are robots that you fight. Okay. So the thing about this game is the reason why it works better than other games is that no matter what you do, and kind of in the same way like Metal Hellsinger, I think Metal Hellsinger did this, but all of your attacks automatically are on the beat. You can't actually mess that up. However,
Okay.
if you press the buttons on the beat, then you can get better combos, and the power of your hits increases.
I like
So
it.
you can and it works really well. And that was the thing with No Straight Roads, this other game that I had played, is I was just like, for whatever reason, the beat was not making itself known to me or whatever. So I just ended up kind of playing it normal, and it just didn't feel as musical as I wanted it to be. This game totally does it, and it has. I mentioned Devil May Cry. It has a whole like cool, bad, awesome, super, whatever. It kind of does that whole thing. It doesn't do the voice, but you have a kind of like a guitar, sort of like a keyblade guitar thing, and you've got like a regular attack and a smash attack, and there's dashes that you can do, and if you hit the dashes on the beat, you can do multiple, you can chain multiple dashes and stuff. And it plays honestly kind of, there's not anything super new or novel about the combat itself. I mean, if you've played a Devil May Cry game, it's sort of like that. And I would say it's not even as fluid as a Devil May Cry game, partly because I'm assuming the necessity of having everything go on the beat.
Yeah.
But all of the sound effects from the attacks kind of end up sort of contributing to the, and it's not just a 4/4 beat either. Like, you can actually do with like the big attack is almost like a beat and a half, or something like that. So the combos, if you mix up regular and heavy attacks, it kind of makes a difference as to how you're going to play that, how you're gonna hit the button, the patterns that it's gonna go at. There's also a little system where if you get a combo all the way to the end of the chain, there'll be almost an Elite Beat agent style like condensing circle that you can hit for like a big explosion at the end. And all of the different attacks that you do, you can expand them. You can buy at a little shop. In fact, just like No Straight Roads, you go back to your little couch, home base or whatever, and you have a little sidekick there, and she will load you up with different abilities and stuff. There's also a little robot cat character that's really cute, 808, who turns into like a little floating orbular cat thing that helps you to see the beat. But also in the environment, a lot of things are kind of like talking and stuff like that. So it kind of, the whole game kind of pulses to the rhythm that you want to play the game on, basically. And overall, it works really, really well. There are a lot of sort of boss characters. So kind of in the same way that something like River City Girls or what it almost reminds me of in terms of the characters and the character acting is Haven, which was a game about like a couple that is on this like crash spaceship or something, and just the voice acting is really earnest and has a lot of heart. And in this same way, it's almost like again, same with like No Straight Roads. There are villains that are sort of themed, and you're going up through this corporation. So there's like the production lady and the HR person, and like all of the leadership of this corporation, and they all have just really well depicted characters. They're all kind of different. And it's just a lot of fun. It's apparently pretty short. I have not played to the end of it, but apparently you can get through it in 8 to 10 hours, which I think is perfect. I love that. And everybody's loving it. I hear a lot of people saying, it's January, but this could be on the short list for Game of the Year. The
That
animation,
good, huh?
yeah, and the way it looks also, a lot of people were sort of comparing it to Spider-Verse, not in the sense that it has like a lot of like weird like filters or anything, but just that it very seamlessly moves from action to action. The cameras are very dynamic. It has a lot of comedy in not only the character delivery, but also in the way the camera kind of moves and focuses on things. And characters will do like a beat or something and like look around or whatever. The main character Chai is kind of like a lovable doofus sort of dude, and I actually want to say that it's the same voice actor who did the dude in Haven, Kai or whatever his name was in Haven. But it's just really well put together, and nobody saw it coming. They just dropped it out of nowhere. And I'll say this: when I tried Metal Hellsinger on streaming, because it again was an Xbox Series X game, I couldn't make it work. This though totally works for me. So you can stream it if you can install it if you have one of those.
Just because you said you didn't have to actually attack on the beat.
That's the thing, but I find that I'm like hitting it a lot, and so whatever it is, whatever they've done, just works really well and makes it. And the combo system is just really, the ending moves of all of them are like different musical, ray guns and big explosions and all kinds of things. And sometimes the character will sort of in his imagination or whatever go in front of a crowd and he's playing his guitar, and that's where you learn new moves and stuff like that. It just has a lot of heart. I hate to say stuff has heart because it kind of doesn't mean anything more than I like it. And conversely, when somebody says something doesn't have heart, it doesn't mean anything. It just means, well, I didn't like it. But I really recommend trying this out. If you have Xbox Game Pass, this is one to get on board with, especially while people are talking about it. Yeah, I'm excited.
It's on my list. I think I have it installed on the Xbox.
Yeah, definitely install it or stream it or whatever. And I commend it to you. I am 100% sure the soundtrack for this is going to be coming out on vinyl at some point in the future. So it's just one of those kind of games. And by the way, the interesting thing is that it's from the team. What's the name of the development studio? It's from the team that did. What was the Tango Gameworks, which did
Those are Shinji Mikami's.
Yeah, Shinji Mikami. And I'm trying to think the hell. I'm blanking on the name, but anyway,
Evil Within.
Yes, Evil Within. That's exactly right. And
Ghostwire Tokyo.
Ghostwire Tokyo, which is another one that I really want to try, but I've only watched a friend play. It looks pretty cool. But anyway, Hi-Fi Rush, real good, animated, fun, cool, musical, and just a hoot. It's a lot of fun. Recommend.
All right. Well, we've got some new releases next up on the list, courtesy of tech-gaming.com. Go check out the list there. Dead Space Remake has been released on all the things that matter, which is everything but Switch. Sorry.
People
seem
to like it.
Metroid Dread. Forspoken also out. Hearing,
I saw some wacky clips of the dialogue and voice acting from that game that were very because the whole thing is like a fish out of water situation. Like a girl from modern times goes into this like fantasy world.
Conan in New York.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Cool.
Yeah.
I saw the demo. I haven't checked it out yet, but it's not getting very good. Great. It's not getting great reviews. It's getting okay.
I mean, it looks okay. It looks like a, like I said, it looks like a, I don't know, Neo goes into the Matrix and is like, whoa, has some attitude and that's all that sort of crap,
Nice.
It's but in a different situation, different setting, different character.
Yeah.
Hi-Fi Rush is out. We just talked about it.
Never.
Also, Fire Emblem Engage. This is the new game on the Switch.
Engage.
I've heard it's good, but they just keep looking dumber every time they release it.
Fire Emblem. Engage.
Yeah, I didn't play Three Houses. I haven't played actually. Anyway, Personas are now on Game Pass. So Persona 3 Portable and Persona 4.
Don't use your Game Pass to play Persona. It's a bad value. We discussed it earlier.
Yeah.
We did the numbers. We ran the numbers.
Dale's got to tell him your theory, Dale. Like, what's the optimum Game Pass playbook?
Well, if you want to get the most out of Game Pass, you got to be playing a lot of games. So ideally, you play every game and discover very quickly that you don't like it, and you move on to the next thing. Don't mire yourself in a Persona for 100 hours and to where you're playing it for like 8 weeks, and then because by that time, that money for Game Pass, you could have just bought the Persona, right?
Right.
No, play games you hate exclusively on Game Pass. Get your money's worth.
I'm playing a game that's on Game Pass. It's called Monster Hunter Rise, and I'm not sorry about it.
Nice.
It's really good. Also, we have some new Destiny guns out. Cubic Light is out. This is a fusion rifle for sure.
Yeah.
And Sunwards.
Sunwards.
That's plural.
That's a solar sniper rifle.
That's right. New games coming to Game Pass include GoldenEye 007. That's out on consoles, so you can find out.
I've heard it controls better on the Xbox than it does on the Switch.
I'm sure it's horrible.
How could it possibly? Well, like, why would it be any different on one or the other?
Because of drift.
Yeah,
I can see that. Anyway,
it doesn't matter when you're odd job.
Spoilers. GoldenEye 007 probably doesn't hold up. That game was bad. If you look back,
You only need one stick to play that game. That's how bad it is.
That's right. RoboQuest is on game preview coming out. Age of Empires 2. Yes, Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition's out, also coming up on the 31st. A game called Inkulinati. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle Royale. Yeah, check out JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Yeah. And Darkest Dungeon also coming too.
Darkest Dungeon, Dale. There's your Darkest Dungeon.
All right.
Oh, did you get Darkest Dungeon?
Yeah,
you said you wanted to play it.
A few games leaving Donut County. I'd play that game if I were you. That game's really good.
It's good. You can play that in like 3-4 hours. It's worth it.
Taiko no Tatsujin, the Drum Master, leaving Game Pass on January 31st. Telling Lies, you're probably not going to finish it by tomorrow. And Worms WMD, which you probably didn't know that was on Game Pass. That's also leaving.
Worms,
That's right. Amazon Prime's giving away a bunch of games. Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, boy. Game of the Year edition on
that's
Amazon Games.
Game.
Other than that, Space Warlord Oregon Trading Simulator. I recommend.
Aerial Knights Never Yield, which has a great soundtrack on vinyl. I'm really excited to actually try it out and see what it is. I always thought the apostrophe was poorly placed, but I guess it's not Aerial Knights Never Yield. It's a guy named Aerial Knight, and it's his, and the game is called Never Yield.
Oh,
okay,
like a Sid Meier's.
Yeah, exactly.
Sort of situation.
Yeah. Confused me for a long time.
Okay. Also, in updates, Marvel Snap is getting a versus mode where you can actually play against people you know.
Are you still playing that?
No. I wish they would have had that
it
available when I played it.
I
wish they would have had it available when I played it.
Oh, man. Well, some other things we wish they'd have had available. E3, because now Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo all skipping out on the new E3 that's coming out this year.
Supposedly.
Yeah, what's the deal with that?
Supposedly.
They just don't like it?
Well, I think because the thing was that they're saying that they're going to make it into just like a consumer-friendly thing, because before it was more of an industry.
Well, they have 2 days for trade show and 2 days for consumer.
Yeah. So basically, I guess what's going to happen is Ubisoft is going to step up, and we're going to finally get everything you wanted to know about the High Seas or the pirate game or whatever it is. It's the
Skull and Bones.
Skull and Bones. It's going to be the Skull and Bones show for a whole week. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I don't know. I think a lot of people are saying, like, I saw this coming. Whether you saw it coming or not, it's kind of significant. But by the same token, like, I don't really know if there's a lot to say about it. So, anyway,
last year's E3 was not really anything special anyway, right?
Last year they canceled it. So
yeah, they didn't have E3.
Yeah, it wasn't anything special.
I guess the last one that they had.
2019 that they've had it, I think, right?
I think they had it the year before. I don't know. For me, in my mental continuity, I think we just barely had the one that was the distributed E3. But I still think that was like 10 years ago.
That was like 20 years ago, bud.
Like, to me, that's still like the new Coke of E3 that everybody didn't like. And then they brought back Coke Classic.
Wasn't that like 2007 or something?
I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm getting to the point in my life where I forget more than I remember now. But anyway, so we'll have to see how this one turns out. It's kind of interesting, kind of unfortunate, but who knows? Maybe it'll turn around. And here's the other thing: they may not be there, but people are still going to be announcing stuff. And like,
I think they already mentioned in the article that's linked. They also mentioned that Microsoft's planning on like doing their own thing.
Yeah. In
the same week as E3, they're just not going to have a presence at E3.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I kind of like that because I just like to have a fun hype week, but it's fine. Yeah. Speaking of Xbox, Xbox gaming revenue is down 13% overall, but Game Pass subscriptions have increased. And, I don't know. I think one of Legrand's predictions for the year was that things would just be down overall with Xbox. So far, I guess half. But it's eventually get to a point where everybody's on Game Pass who wants to be. So
I just said that Xbox sees decline in Game Pass subscriber metrics, so maybe that's not. Subscribers have increased.
Okay, so we're not looking good for LeGrand's
Not yet.
prediction.
Not yet. It's just
but
January.
it's only January. I know.
We're
I
3
know.
weeks in. Come on.
I know, but you're not getting that one. No, I'm just kidding.
So.
So Xbox Developer Direct happened, and they just kind of talked about Xbox stuff, which is fine. Turn 10 is working on a new Forza Motorsports, and they promise that it's going to stress the capabilities of the Xbox Series X, which is fine because I'm just going to stream it on my Xbox One anyway. Mojang and Blackbird Interactive are doing a Minecraft Legends PvP mode. That's fine. Redfall, which is the vampire first person.
Yep.
I remember it looked cool, but I don't remember anything about it. I didn't actually watch this thing. So Redfall is coming on May 2nd. They showed 10 minutes of gameplay there. Again, Hi-Fi Rush was announced and released, and the Elder Scrolls Online is getting a.
I've got a hot take on Elder Scrolls Online.
Okay, it's your hot take.
There's a new expansion coming out, Necrom.
Yeah, Necrom.
There's like a new class. I don't know. The Arcanist is a new class. Elder Scrolls Online is like they have their advertisements and their trailers and shit like that. They are the Big Mac advertisements of video games, where those trailers come out. Wow, look at Elder Scrolls Online. This game looks amazing. Every little sesame seed is perfectly placed. And then you download the game and play it, and you're like, oh god, this game looks like hell, and it's kind of fun, but kind of not. I guess I kind of enjoy it. It's basically Big Macs in a nutshell.
Could be spending my time better.
Oh yeah, basically. Yeah. So Elder Scrolls Online are Big Macs. That's what I'm trying to say.
You know, I'm always very not quite hype and never buy on Elder Scrolls Online.
I've played plenty of it. It's just there's something about it that doesn't catch my long-term interest. Like I played 700 hours of Final Fantasy 14 in like one freaking year, and I can't be bothered to play more than 10 hours of another very highly regarded MMO. It's just there's something about it that's just a little.
Elder Scrolls in general, like as a series that originated on PC and has been a staple in gaming for 30 years, I just always kind of look at it from afar and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And I just never really get past that. Skyrim and everything, I've never touched any of them.
Skyrim's fine, but like looking back, it's like it's fine, it's great.
Skyrim is also like 12 years old now.
You know, funny in the episode.
So is Elder Scrolls Online.
In the episode we did 6 years ago that included Hidden My Game by Mom, we were actually talking about how Skyrim was like 10 years old or 6 years old or something at that time. Like, oh wow, it's been around for so long.
They're still releasing versions of it. That's what we were saying back then. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Phil Spencer, Xbox head, says that 2022 was too light for Xbox games, and that they want to do better. In 2021, they had a lot more games: Forza Horizon 5, Halo Infinite, Age of Empires 4, Psychonauts 2. Metacritic was declared that Microsoft was publisher of the year that year, and apparently Phil.
What did they have last year?
Happy with the output.
Microsoft games released in
maybe not anything. I don't know. You know, interesting. Bethesda actually is the publisher of Hi-Fi Rush, which is kind of weird. But I don't remember that they did very much at all.
They had. No, not a lot.
No. So hopefully it'll be a rebuilding year for.
Like seriously, like I'm trying to think of a game and I'm trying to look it up and.
I can't. I don't know. Can't think of anything. You know, because usually those would make a big splash too when they're launched on Game Pass. But you know the thing is, there's been a lot of interesting stuff on Game Pass, so they've been doing a good job backfilling with other developers and other titles too. So including the MLB the Show. Is going to be on. You can buy it from Sony for $70, or you can get it on Game Pass for $0. So I don't know. You might as well say Microsoft had MLB the Show. That's coming up though. That's this year. So anyhow, so Phil knows he's going to do something about it. Games will happen. Be ready. 2023 Xbox.
Oh yeah, like here, I have the list. According to Wikipedia, video games published by Microsoft 2022, As Dusk Falls. In July, so nothing up until July.
I don't even know what that is.
So it's an adventure game. It's on Game Pass. They had it at E3. I remember seeing it. Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels, which is an expansion.
Oh yeah, okay. All right.
Grounded came out of early access.
Okay.
Age of Empires 4 Anniversary Edition doesn't count. Pentiment, that was the other game.
Yeah,
that's literally it. since in all of 2022.
Yeah, I think Phil's got a point.
Yeah.
So hopefully more.
According to
year.
this article, for 2023, they have planned Hi-Fi Rush, Minecraft Legends, Forza Motorsport, Age of Empires 4, Fable's on this list for some reason. Also, Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Anyway, bunch of stuff. Anyway, they do need to do better. And that's why I said it's like, I mean, my prediction may come true if they can't get their shit together with releasing games on Game Pass.
Yeah,
Not that games aren't coming to Game Pass, you know what I mean? But
yeah, right.
the whole point of them spending bajillions of dollars buying studios is to release new IP and new games on their service, right?
Yeah, that's even. I mean, what you listed was not even just Microsoft Studios, but actually like all these second party.
No, those are published by Game Pass, according to Wikipedia.
Yeah,
published by Game Pass, or by Microsoft.
Well,
sorry.
Speaking of weird publishing things, and I don't know, stuff that maybe nobody's asking for, Valve has launched on the Steam storefronts a new discovery hub dedicated to DLC, which I don't know who.
I hate DLC. First of all, second of all,
yeah, most of it's
where's this at? I'm looking at.
Yeah, it's on Steam. I don't know. I guess you can get DLC for your games.
Every one of their every game in your library on Steam will have a little box to link you to DLC for that game. So like, what are they going to try to sell you DLC that you don't have a game
I think
for?
what they're letting you know is that this is the DLC that is for every game in your library. So here's a place where it's collecting all of the DLC that applies to you.
Where?
Oh, okay.
So if there's something,
gonna collect them all.
How do I find it?
Yeah, exactly.
How do I find it?
That's what I thought. No,
that's what I freaked
DLC
out.
Discovery Hub.
Your store, Discovery queue, new releases queue.
Personalized hub and extended search options. Popular DLC.
Yeah, no one's doing this.
Yeah, nope. I didn't ask for it. Guys, that's going to do it for all of our main news, but we're going to close it out with a quick and speedy and sexy new speedrun. Start that music.
Oh, yeah. Boom.
Lots of Last of Us news, friends. Activision Blizzard executives are saying now that because Last of Us, the TV show, is so popular, that's proof that Sony has the games needed to make it so Microsoft
fend off their monopoly. Yeah,
that's right.
I mean, I'll give them some points for creativity. It was a good try.
Sure,
I like it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to send that one to the Mythbusters to figure out. Well, The Last of Us TV series has blown past HBO Max's previous records with an obscene 5.7 million episode 2.
What was like the viewership of like Game of Thrones when it peaked?
I don't know, but I can tell you it was 4.6 million for the first episode of The Last of Us, and it's well deserved. So far it is a thoughtful and well handled adaptation, and super well done. The Last of Us TV series, also by virtue of its many viewers, is now announced to get a season 2.
I also heard that season 2 is going to be based off of Last of Us Part 2. So anyway, I read that somewhere. Don't quote me on that.
Possible.
Neil Druckmann has said that Naughty Dog may not make any more Uncharted or Last of Us games. And
but that's not to say that someone else might.
That's right. It says in here that their storytelling is driving the decision. I think this is commentary by Jeremy. And
they should probably
saying that they don't want to big story-driven games like that anymore.
Well, they said for Uncharted, they said that they have put their final brush stroke on it, and they don't have anything more they want to do with it. So
it sounds like that's the same thing with Last of Us 2 as well. I mean, The Last of Us at one point was a new creation, right? So like that proves that they could probably come up with something original.
Maybe
and
their storytelling driving the decisions that they don't have any more stories to tell. Is that what you're saying, Jeremy?
Right. Well, at least nothing that they find interesting or whatever. I mean, if they come up with another franchise or IP that's as cool as The Last of Us, like roll on. Let's.
You know what I would like to see from them, because given the Uncharted series is a sort of like, it's a take on Indiana Jones adventure movies and stuff, and The Last of Us is very much a like post-apocalyptic zombie-ish sort of thing. I think it would be actually really cool to have them do something that was like just dramatic, like a soap opera or something, but make it into a video game.
Maybe. I mean,
that would be breaking new ground, right?
How about this? What if they do something so, like you said, Uncharted is sort of like the Indiana Jones. Last
Yeah.
is kind of like your zombie apocalypse, whatever. What if they do something based on like the Last Starfighter?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah?
Now you got me.
What do you think about that?
I think that would be insufferable.
No way, Centauri and Grieg are gonna come kick your ass, dude. If you
That's
say
right.
some bad things about Last Starfighter.
Zur of the Kodan Armada. Shink. He's got that stupid scepter that just does that.
That
Like, knife
scepter
thing out of it.
rules. The scepter rules.
That thing is
Like,
dumb.
surprise! There's an extra spike on my scepter.
I know, he's already full of spikes. Like, what's the stupid knife? This switchblade.
If they made that, that would be them jumping the shark. And
Right,
I'll tell you why.
Okay,
Because it would be pandering to the 80s nostalgia, and all those people are going to be in their late 40s and 50s pretty soon.
yeah. Listen,
Wanting
the
a
80s
Last
was like-
Starfighter game.
We're coming up on 50 years since.
Yeah,
the
but
80s,
it's the audience is going to be falling off.
so, yeah.
Yeah.
Like falling dead is what's happening. Speaking of insufferable things, Sony may still be teasing a new Uncharted game with small cuts of a woman carrying a torch in between some game trailers, and speculation is that it's Nathan Drake's daughter, so they're going to keep the series going.
Could be Laura Croft, I guess, as in the next Tomb Raider game published by Amazon. I don't think I knew that.
Yeah.
It'll be getting a TV series, movie, and a cinematic universe. No, it won't. It
I don't
will
know.
not. It's
That's
not going to
what
get
they-
any of that stuff.
That's what
It's
they-
probably going to come out. Don't give me
Listen,
this crap.
It's their words. It's their words.
No.
A cinematic universe.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Magician Uri Geller has dropped a 20-year lawsuit against Nintendo about the Pokemon Kadabra, which has prevented the Pokemon from appearing in games and in the card game because the Japanese name is Young Geller. So he was like, wait, that's me. And now he says, I was a fool, and has dropped the lawsuit. So now Kadabra the Pokemon.
I was a fool. Babe.
Everyone hates
Hawk
that
and
guy. They hate that guy because he stopped Pokemon.
Yeah.
That's why.
And because he's a charlatan.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Russia says that popular games have, quote, inserts, unquote, that are attempting to corrupt Russian youth and is preparing a ban list.
Well, like Call of Duty or something? What is he talking about?
I don't know. They're preparing a ban list. Like, I'm curious to know where all the dark patterns are because, the FTC has already said dark patterns are being deployed.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Honestly, what kind of dark patterns are being hovering over Russia right now?
Well, as AI explodes onto the sea, there's a such thing apparently as an AI legal council, but they were
Hell
barred
yeah,
from entering the
dude.
courtroom.
I like that. I can't wait for like a TV spin-off series, like AI lawyer.
Small
or something.
Wonder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just a computer
Small
programmer.
Wonder returns.
I'm not a cat.
Yeah.
All it does is it remixes stuff from the AI bot malfunctions and says sassy things to the judge. Oh gosh, guys, that is going to do it for our speed run. That's going to do it for this episode. of
Your
Game Culture
Honor,
Podcast.
someone set up us the bomb.
Someone set us the bomb. Oh gosh. If you have any comments about the games that we played, if you want to share the games that you have played with us, if there's any news that we missed during our little hiatus, let us know all about that. You can contact us on social media and give us what for. We are on Twitter at GameBytes Show collectively. You can also reach out to us individually. I am at Jeremy_Lamont.
You can find me at Legrand.
And I am technically at Count Elmdor, but I'm spending a whole lot less time on Twitter because
Their
they
app
stopped.
sucks.
They stopped making my app work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used a third-party app, and those are no longer kosher.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Kind of a weird choice, I guess.
Elon Musk can go sit on a cactus.
Yeah.
I bet a lot of people aren't using Twitter now. Like,
Yeah,
you're not the only one.
I'll check it on my browser every day or two. But I mean, if you want to send me a message, I'll probably see it sometime. But
Come join our Discord. Come over to GameBytesShow.com, where Jared Red Eye Dunn and others can be found.
Yes.
GameBytesShow.com, you'll find a standing link, invite link to our Discord server, which is where we'll update you on various freebies, news items, fun little memes, things that we find going on out there. At GameBytesShow.com, you can also find the back catalog of our podcast. Don't forget, YouTube.com/GameBytesShow, where you can see this thing go down live. If one of us drops dead on stream, you'll be able to see it. I mean, that's a reason to show up, I think.
that's right.
You never know. We're getting to
Bonus
that age.
content.
Someone finally clutches his chest in the middle of an Elden Ring DLC review. I mean, not that I know the future or have seen these things, and that's coming up pretty quickly.
It'd be like a Sanford and Son
That's
sort
right.
of thing.
This is the big one, Lisbeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a coming.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Guys, that is going to do it for this episode of your Game By Show podcast. Thank you for being with us. Thank you to my co-host for making it all the way to the end, and we will see you next time.
See ya.
All
right, real talk, Jeremy.
Real talk.
Not Jeremy, Dale. I meant Dale.
Oh.
Yes.
Is it worth it to play Final Fantasy 11 in 2023? As someone who doesn't have nostalgia for it.
Probably not for anybody that would expect anything akin to a modern experience. Because the game has been much improved from what it was before, but it's still not like, I don't know. It's I don't even know how to explain it, but it is not a modern game in any sort of like UI sense or anything. You've played the game before, but that, like, when was that? That was a really long time ago.
2004.
How long did you play it for?
Maybe 2 months.
Like how okay, so you weren't like
I was like level 20
ride or die. Okay, yeah, then
I level 20 something red mage.
If I don't think you would like it. Yeah, I know you've played a lot of 14, like I know that. I don't know if you could get past all the hurdles and the like oddities and quirks of how 11 works, because it's a primitive game compared to 14.
I'm surprised they're still selling shit on that. Like,
I'm surprised
it's $30
still
to buy that game right now.
Well, and it's $12.99 minimum a month, yeah. And it can be even more than that if you add more characters and like storage space and stuff like that. I'm surprised that it still has as many players as it does, but apparently it's got like, I don't know, at least 10 servers still going or something, which is, I think it really has to be on the back of, because they were always like very hardcore, and I think they would be much less likely to fall off the game in favor of WoW or Lineage or Black Desert Online or whatever the hell the flavor of the month is, right? This is a game that very much it'll like hook you, and then it'll like keep you forever, right? Because A, the audience is like predisposed to that sort of thing, but B, it's just like I guess I would say it's been really well supported, like the entire time.
They had a patch this month. I just looked.
Yeah, they have a patch coming up in a couple of days apparently. So it's like, I think it's very much a game for the people that it's for. But I don't know if anybody that is not like a dyed-in-the-wool fan would be able to appreciate it. It's tough to say. But yeah, I can definitely recognize I have a weak spot for this game, as much time as I spent back in the day playing it.
Yeah.
Which was years.
Yeah, I played it for 20 levels in 2004.
What class were you playing, or what job were you playing?
Red mage.
Red mage? Oh, yeah. I don't even know what like the popular choices for endgame stuff yet. As far as I can glean, the samurai and the warrior class are like some of the better DPS classes. And it used to be that the ninja was like probably the preferred tank for most content. But from what I've been reading, that's no longer the case, because the ninja was never meant to be a tank. It was just sort of a fluke of how a couple of spells worked that allowed it to basically take hits and absorb them without taking any damage. And the speed of the ninja's cast and like their evasion and the presence of a couple of levels of that spell that one could overwrite the other, basically all added up to where there was like accidentally the player base discovered a really good way to be a tank. But I think as the level cap moved up from 75, the developers kind of addressed that and re-cemented the paladin as the main tank. But then there's a newer job class from the more recent expansions called the Rune Fencer, which is, I think the two of them are sort of like both the preferred tank options these days.
Huh.
But yeah, the red mage is, I mean, every job I think is viable. I don't know like what's the sort of hardcore, like meta chasing sort of thing. But Red Mage was always really preferred when I was playing a lot because they had the ability to cast refresh on other mages, and refresh would give them a replenishment of MP over time, so that you wouldn't have to like stop between mobs, and you could keep your experience chain going by killing mob after mob after mob. So yeah, people loved Red Mage.
If it's not going to be good to play, then I won't try
I
it.
would be curious. So like if some or whatever, I'd be curious to see what you thought after a couple of days.
Well,
but
they have a free trial. So.
Oh well, in that case, maybe check it out. But yeah, I mean, don't be surprised if you're like, what the what the hell is this game?
It's 14-day free trial.
Because when you first log in, it'll be like at some obscenely low resolution, so you'll have to like, you have to do all the settings to like figure stuff out.
Well, listen, the Final Fantasy 14 launcher is a piece of shit, so I can only imagine what the Final Fantasy 11 one is.
Oh shit, dude! I honestly, I don't even know how to explain to you the Play Online launcher, which it's mystifying, but that they still use that. But there it is.
I wonder if I can even do a free trial. I guess I could use a different email address if I don't plan on playing forever. But I don't like. I had an account because I had the game. The game with the first Rise of the Zillard expansion. When I bought it, that was what was out, and it just came as part of one.
Do you still have the account info?
Jeez.
Because like if you have your back in the day, what was called like a Play Online ID and like a game ID or something. If you have that anyway, it's probably still valid.
Play Online Final Fantasy 11. Let's see.
You'd probably have to like have the discs in the instruction manual or the code for it.
Yeah. I wonder if I can reset my account.
Or what you do is you just go on Steam and it's like $20. Just buy the like complete set of everything.
Yeah, it's $30 on.
Yeah.
Store. Is it even on Steam?
It is. Yeah.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah, the version that I got is the one on Steam now. The like Seekers of Adulin or whatever.
So if I click on Square Enix account management system.
Yeah, you're gonna need to.
Can I log in with that?
You have that because you played 14, so you'll have to like link to, because the Play Online thing came first, right? And then at some point after they had started 14, they kind of like merged them together in a weird sort of way, so that I think it's because they wanted to use the security stuff. The Square Enix account.
How do I tell if I own this game on here?
What, on Steam or what?
On just from directly from Square.
Oh, I don't know. They might not have any record of you owning.
So I log in, I click on the Play Online thing, and it says add a service account or add new Play Online service account. Active service accounts, there's no active. Linked Play Online IDs, there are no linked Play Online IDs that need to be transferred. Please click here to transfer Play Online ID not linked to a Square Enix account. Which
I don't know, man. I know at one point, back in when 2017 or whatever, the first time I picked this game up again after, I had to do that account migration thing to link the old Play Online ID to the newer Square Enix account ID, so that when I log into the Play Online app, which the launcher thing opens up every time and you got to put in your password or whatever, I use those Square Enix account credentials to log on, in addition to the old Play Online credentials, which are like just saved in there now. I don't have to re-enter them every time.
I have emails from 2006 from Square Enix. Newsletters. Final Fantasy 11 newsletter number 11. Huh. Yeah, I have no idea. So I could start a trial account and mess with it. I would be interested to see.
I'll tell you it would. If your only progression was up to like level 20 or whatever, you could do that in an afternoon easily, including the time it would take to like buy, download, install, figure out how to log in, and all that
Oh,
stuff.
I don't know about that. Like that's the big.
Yeah, that would probably take up most of the time. But like actually choosing your race and when you first start out, when you first start a character, you will only have access to the base 6 jobs, which are like warrior, thief, red mage, white mage, black mage, monk is the other one. And then all the other jobs are like unlocked later on as you get to like 30-ish. They all have a quest that you can
Go and unlock them. Well, maybe I'll dabble. I don't know. I'm gonna leave it up and I'll sleep on it. How about that?
I'd be curious to see your reaction to it because, but like you've been around. You're used to playing old games. You're used to playing MMOs. You're used to playing.
Hey, I wish Warhammer Online was still around. That game rules.
Dude, I do too because I never played that. I'd be really interested to go back and play it now.
Awesome! I freaking loved it. I love the PvP. I love the gameplay. I love the classes. They were all unique. I love the races, like playing as the orcs, which is what I played.
It was too bad that game came and went before MMOs ever went like free to play. Because like if that concept had existed at that time, that game would probably still be around. Yeah.
It was really good. That's the thing is like I stopped playing WoW to play Warhammer Online for a while. Like,
yeah, my brother-in-law did that as well. He was like the most hardcore WoW player. And yeah, he stopped it for a while to play Warhammer. Was it like Age of Reckoning?
Yeah, 2008 is when it came out.
Yeah.
It was the game that introduced achievements in MMOs, and then WoW aped it on their next expansion.
And then when did that game come down? Like how
they
long
also are the ones that started doing world quests for the first time, and group quests where you just randomly just get to people and you do a thing together. Like Guild Wars has these, WoW has these now.
Yeah.
Warhammer Online did it first. Like that was part of their game. It was like, hey, these open world quests, and it was always the orcs versus the alliance versus the
right,
the
order versus chaos or destruction or whatever.
Yeah, so it was like you couldn't actually. They were always like versus battles, which were really cool. Or you were competing for the resources to complete the group quest. There was like a whole PvP element.
Who made that game? Like who published that?
It was so fucking good, man. I don't know. Let me let's see. Got it right here. Mythic Entertainment.
Mythic, huh?
Mythic. They also made Dark Age of Camelot, which I never played. And after that, they all
played a lot of Dark Age of Camelot.
They were purchased by BioWare, and they were the ones who made Dragon Age 2.
Right. Yeah. The only Dragon Age game that I've played. Dragon Age 2.
They haven't done anything lately, though. Maybe they're shut down. Defunct 2014.
Mythic?
That's a shame.
Mythic Entertainment.
Huh.
EA shuts down longtime game studio Mythic Entertainment 2015. Jason Schreier Kotaku article. Anyway. All right, dudes. I'm out of here.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Take care, gentlemen.
I'm getting my stuff exported. I'll upload.
Cool. Appreciate it. I'll get the last show published.
Yeah, no rush.
Okay. See you guys.
See ya.